The 2008 McDonald's All-American team is filled with solid NBA players, a few cases of wasted potential, and a guy currently banging on the door of the top 25 scorers in NBA history. As far as guys who did not make the roster but went on to have pro success, this year's class includes Klay Thompson, Miles Plumlee, and the 53rd ranked player in this class, Terrell Pryor, who instead went on to play football at Ohio State, among many others. Let's jump into the 2008 class of McDonald's All-Americans and see what happened. Al-Farouq Aminu. Aminu played high school ball alongside 2007 McDonald's All-American Gani Lawal. However, he decided to go to Wake Forest instead of joining Georgia Tech with Lawal and played with Jeff Teague and James Johnson. Over 2 years with the Demon Deacons, Aminu put up 14 points, 9 rebounds, and a little over 1 block and 1 steal a night to make one All-ACC team in 2010. He jumped into the NBA draft, where teams were intrigued by his length and defensive versatility. The Clippers picked him in the first round, and Aminu was relatively solid as a rookie, mostly coming off the bench to average about 6 points, 3 rebounds, and 1 steal a game. However, the Clippers included him in the package trade that brought Chris Paul to LA. Now with the Hornets, Aminu started to get more playing time and slowly brought up his numbers. That said, he was never much more than a solid wing defender who didn't have a great outside shot. After 3 seasons in New Orleans, he signed with the Mavs. He spent a year there and then joined Portland on a 4-year deal. That was the best stretch of his career. Aminu hovered around 10 points a night and brought good rebounding and solid defense while showing the versatility to guard pretty much every position on the court. He did miss several games with a few injuries, but nothing too significant. In 2019, he signed with Orlando. Unfortunately, he tore up his knee early into the 2020 season and played in just 18 games. The next year, he played in a handful of games before being traded to the Bulls to end the season. That summer, he was traded to the Spurs, but they waived him. He signed a 10-day deal with Boston that December, but never played for the team. As of 2024, he appears to be enjoying his retirement and traveling the world while starting up a music career. Aminu's brother Holiday also played professionally, winning several championships around the world. Luke Babbitt. Babbitt was born in Cincy, but moved to Nevada when he was 9 and became a star high school player there. He originally committed to Ohio State, but switched to the University of Nevada. Babbitt won the WAC Rookie of the Year in 2009 with 17 points and 7 rebounds a night. He bumped that up to 22-9 as a sophomore, winning the WAC Player of the Year in the process. Babbitt decided to forego his final 2 years of eligibility and enter the 2010 draft. The Timberwolves picked him 16th overall, but he was quickly traded to the Trailblazers. He didn't play much as a rookie, but slowly worked his way into the lineup over the next 3 seasons, grabbing a smattering of votes for 6th Man of the Year in 2013. Babbitt decided to play in Russia in 2014, but he left the club against the coach's wishes after the Pelicans offered him a contract. He spent 3 years in New Orleans, again mostly coming off the bench as a relatively average depth option. He was traded to Miami in 2017 and was technically a starter, though he only played about 16 minutes a night. Babbitt then signed with the Hawks, but was traded back to Miami soon after. After 13 games with the Heat in 2018, Babbitt was out of the NBA. As of 2026, Babbitt is coaching and running camps at the youth level. William Buford. Buford decided to stay in-state and play at Ohio State. During his first season with the Buckeyes, the guard put up 11 points and 4 rebounds to win the Big Ten Freshman of the Year award. He continued to play at that level for the next 3 years, never taking a significant leap, but consistently showing out as a top Big Ten guard. He was seen as a jack of all trades and master of none, which led to him going undrafted in 2012. Ultimately, he lacked the top-end athleticism needed to play in the NBA, but that does not mean he didn't enjoy a long pro career. Buford made stops in the G League, Germany, France, Greece, Italy, and Turkey. In 2025, the 3-time All-Big Ten player went back to Ohio State to earn his degree. and as of 2026, he is working as a basketball trainer. Ed Davis. Davis's dad Terry played for a decade in the NBA, mostly as a rotation big for the Mavs in the 90s. The younger Davis was born in the DMV and played high school ball in Richmond, Virginia. For college ball, he decided to join North Carolina. As a freshman, he helped the team win a national title, averaging 7 points and 7 rebounds off the bench. In 2010, he became a starter, putting up 13 points, 10 boards, and 3 blocks a night before a wrist injury and a loss to Duke cut his season short. Still, he decided it was time to jump into the draft. The Raptors picked the big guy 13th overall in 2010. Over the next 2 years, he came off the bench in the NBA to average about 7 points and 7 boards, but also did a few stints in the G League. Midway through the 2013 season, Davis was shipped to the Grizzlies as part of the Rudy Gay trade. At season's end, the Grizz decided to not pick up his qualifying offer, so he was free to sign with the Lakers. Davis spent 1 season in LA, averaging about 8 points and 8 rebounds, while mostly coming off the bench. In 2016, he signed with the Blazers. Davis spent 4 years in Portland as a solid bench big, but did miss a large chunk of 2017 with a knee injury. In 2019, he signed with the Nets. By this point, he was firmly in the journeyman stage of his career. Davis played through 2022, but did so across 4 different teams. In 2023, he left the NBA to play for a season in Puerto Rico. He then did a stint in China before going back to Puerto Rico in 2024. As far as I can tell, he was not listed on the team's depth chart for 2025, so he has seemingly retired and is mostly staying out of the public eye. DeMar DeRozan. DeRozan was widely seen as one of the top 5 players in this class, but his recruiting process was a little strange. See, DeRozan was friends with Percy Miller's son Romeo Miller, better known as Lil Romeo. Supposedly, the reason Romeo was brought in to play for the University of Southern California's basketball team was to lure DeRozan to the university. Now, I don't know exactly how true that is, but both youngsters did eventually sign with USC. In his lone year on campus, DeRozan put up 14 points and 6 assists a night to make the Pac-12 All-Freshman roster. Debo decided to jump into the 2009 draft, where the Raptors picked him 9th overall. He had a solid rookie campaign, which is probably best remembered for his dunk contest appearance. He didn't win the thing, but it certainly put him in front of a national audience. DeRozan spent the next few years improving his game, becoming a double-digit scorer and showing that he was much more than just a great leaper. That culminated with an All-Star appearance in 2014. He put up 23 points a night that year to show that he was ready to be a star. In 2016, he dragged the Raps to the Eastern Conference Finals, where they were bounced by LeBron James's Cavs in 6. Debo just got better as a scorer after that, making a 3rd-team All-NBA roster in 2017 and getting a 2nd-team nod in 2018 while picking up his 3rd and 4th All-Star appearances. However, Toronto decided it needed to make a change to get them over the hump, so ahead of the 2019 season, DeRozan was traded to the Spurs for Kawhi Leonard. Raptors fans were pissed at first because they lost their fan favorite, but then Toronto went on to win a title that year, while DeRozan flamed out once again. He had 2 more disappointing years in San Antonio before signing with the Bulls in 2021. There, it was largely more of the same. Debo was being paid and sometimes played like a top star, but Chicago made the playoffs just once in his 3 years with the team, getting knocked out in the first round during that lone appearance. He signed with the Kings in 2024 and is still playing with them as of the 2026 season. Debo is a 6-time All-Star and one of the great midi magicians of his era. He routinely makes clutch shots for his team in the regular season, but has never been able to truly elevate his game in the playoffs. As hinted at previously, he is currently 26th all-time in NBA scoring and has a solid chance to jump up a few more spots. As of 2026, he's 36 years old, so time is running out fast, but maybe he can finally make one last run at the title before he retires. In addition to his on-court play, DeRozan is a fierce advocate for mental health off the court. In 2024, he released his own book about his experiences with depression and how he has slowly started his own healing process. That same year, he was mentioned in Kendrick Lamar's Not Like Us diss track. He then had a cameo in the song's music video, which later won a Grammy Award. Larry Jrue II. Jrue's father was a first-round pick in 1980 and played in the NBA for a decade. He then had a long coaching career in the league, winning a title as an assistant in 2016 with the Cavs. As a head coach, he never quite attained that same success, but he did get 3 different head coaching jobs in the league. The younger Jrue started his college career at North Carolina. He came off the bench in 2009 to help the team win a title, though he only averaged about 10 minutes a night. Jrue took over as a starter the next year, but had an up and down season and then decided to leave midway through 2011 after losing his starting job. He signed with UCLA and sat out the 2012 season. When he came back in 2013, he was solid, putting up 7.5 points and 7.3 assists. Still, Jrue was not selected in the 2013 draft. He signed with the Heat and spent the next 2 years in the G League. Jrue joined the 76ers in 2014 for 12 games before going back to the G League. He played in France and Lithuania over the next 2 years, before doing short stints with the 76ers and Pelicans in 2018, and then hanging up his sneakers. As of 2026, he's working as an investor, while looking to get back into the NBA as an assistant coach. Michael Dunigan. Dunigan left Chicago to play college ball at Oregon. He spent 2 years with the Ducks, putting up about 9 points, 5 rebounds, and 1 block a night. Instead of taking those 2 more years to develop, he decided to leave school and play overseas. Over the next 8 years, he made stops in Israel, Italy, Ukraine, Australia, the Philippines, Korea, the G League, and Mexico. Since hanging him up in 2019, it looks like he's mostly moved out of the public eye and is heavy into crypto these days. Tyreke Evans. After picking up the McDonald's MVP, Evans signed with Memphis to play under Coach Calipari. Previously, he'd been a 6'6" wing, but Cal turned him into a star point guard. Evans put up 17 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists, and 2 steals per game to win the National Freshman of the Year. He decided to skip his final 3 seasons of eligibility and enter the 2009 draft. The Kings picked him 4th overall. The guy they call Too Easy came out of the gate to drop 20 points, 5 rebounds, 6 assists, and 1.5 steals a night to win Rookie of the Year. Unfortunately, that was the best year of his career. Due to injuries and bad fits, Evans never reached those same heights. He was still a solid player in Sacramento for the next 3 years, averaging about 17 points, 4 rebounds, and 4 assists, but never could take a step toward being an all-star, let alone a superstar. In 2014, he signed with the Pelicans. Evans came off the bench for most of that season, but even when he regained his starting role in 2015, he was never quite the same player he'd flashed as a rookie. Evans was injured in 2016, playing in just 25 games. The next year, he was traded back to Sacramento, but was again limited by injury. He joined the Grizzlies in 2018 and actually played very well, filling in for Mike Conley after an injury with 19 points, 5 assists, and 5 rebounds. Evans signed with the Pacers for 2019, but again went back to the bench. After that season, Evans was banned from the league for violating its anti-drug policy. He was officially reinstated in 2022, but outside of a G League stint, has never made an NBA comeback. Instead, he spent a few years playing in Venezuela and Puerto Rico. He's mostly been out of the public eye since 2023, and is seemingly an unfortunate victim of the rise of three-point shooting becoming so important. In a different era, we might be talking about Evans being a perennial all-star guard. JaMychal Green. Green decided to play college ball for Alabama. He spent 4 years with the Crimson Tide, averaging 13.5 points, 7.4 rebounds, and 1.7 blocks a game. The 2-time All-SEC player wasn't picked in the 2012 draft, but did sign with the Spurs for Summer League. He then spent a few years playing in the G League before joining San Antonio on a 10-day contract in 2015. Green played in 4 games before heading back to the G League, but then Memphis signed him to a contract. He spent the next 5 seasons with the Grizz, even becoming a starter in 2017 and 2018. During that stretch, he put up about 8.5 points and 6 rebounds, but was traded to the Clippers in 2019. After a year and a half there, he joined the Nuggets for 2 seasons and was then traded to the Warriors in 2023. But that was the end of his NBA career. Green is working as an investor while taking care of his young family as of 2026. Jrue Holiday. Both of Holiday's parents played college basketball at Arizona State, with his mother Toya winning the Pac-10 Player of the Year in 1982. The younger Holiday decided to instead sign with UCLA. During his 1 year on campus, Holiday put up 8.5 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists, and nearly 2 steals a night to make the Pac-12 All-Rookie team. Holiday then declared for the 2009 draft, where the 76ers picked him 17th overall. Holiday spent 4 years growing into an All-Star. In 2013, he put up 18 points, 8 assists, and 1.6 steals a night, showing off his quickly improving game en route to that first All-Star nod. Ahead of the 2014 season, Holiday was traded to the Pelicans, but he picked up an injury, limiting him to just 34 games. It took him a few years to get back on track, but he regained a spot in the starting lineup in 2017 before making a move to shooting guard in 2018. That year, he averaged 18 points and 6 assists, but it was his work on defense that started turning heads, as Holiday picked up a first-team All-Defensive nod. He upped his numbers in 2020, earning a second-team All-Defensive nod, but was traded to the Bucks in 2021. There, he helped Giannis and co. win a title, providing top-end defense during all 3 of his seasons in Milwaukee. Holiday also picked up his second All-Star nod in 2023, but was traded to the Trailblazers after that season in the trade that sent Damian Lillard to the Bucks. Soon after, Holiday was traded to the Celtics. There, he won his second title and continued to pick up all defensive team nods. Ahead of the 2026 season, Boston traded him back to Portland, where he played to start the season, but has been sitting out with an injury for about 2 months at the time of this video. His brothers Justin and Aaron both played in the NBA, while his sister Lauren played college ball at UCLA. In 2023, he married pro soccer player Lauren Cheney. Scotty Hopson. Hopson left Kentucky to play for the University of Tennessee. Under Bruce Pearl, Hopson made the SEC All-Freshman team in 2009 before growing into the Vols' top scorer by 2011. That year, Hopson put up 17 points a night to make the All-SEC roster. He decided to skip his senior season and enter the 2011 draft. Unfortunately for him, he went unselected. Instead, Hopson began a long career playing overseas. He played for 13 years, spending time in Greece, Israel, Turkey, Spain, China, Croatia, Australia, and the Philippines. During his career, Hopson signed a few NBA contracts and played in 4 career games. In 2014, he played in 2 games for Cleveland. In 2018, he played in a single game for Dallas, and in 2022, he joined Oklahoma City for 1 game, putting up his career high of 4 points in 18 minutes of action. He also did several G League stints, but saw most of his success happen internationally, even winning an Australian League title in 2021. As of 2025, he's playing in the Big 3 League. Brandon Jennings. Jennings was born in California, but moved to Mouth of Wilson, Virginia ahead of his junior season to attend Oak Hill Academy. He led the team to the 2007 National High School Championship, the school's 7th such win. Jennings put up 35.5 points a night that year and was widely seen as the best player in this class. Originally, he was set to join USC, but switched his commitment to Arizona, saying he wanted to play alongside Jared Bayless. Then, in June 2008, Jennings announced that he would not play collegiately. Instead, he'd spend a year playing in the EuroLeague in Italy and then join the 2009 NBA draft. Jennings signed a $1.65 million contract with Roma and then picked up a $2 million contract with Under Armour. He became the first American player to head overseas instead of playing in college since the NBA implemented its age restriction rule. Unfortunately, he didn't play too well in Europe, averaging about 6 points a night between the Serie A and EuroLeague. Still, the Bucks picked him 10th overall in 2009. Jennings shot out of the gate hot, nearly putting up a triple-double in his first game. In his 7th game, Jennings dropped 55 points against the Warriors. Incredibly, he did all of that in 3 quarters, as he'd been held scoreless in the first. That broke Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's Milwaukee record for most points scored by a rookie, and was the most a rookie had dropped since Earl Monroe poured in 56 in 1968. It also made him the youngest player to ever score 55 in a game. Jennings continued to play well throughout his rookie year, finishing in 3rd for Rookie of the Year voting, with 15.5 points, 5.7 assists, and 1.3 steals. Unfortunately, he missed a chunk of the 2010 season with a broken foot, but played well when healthy. He came back after the 2011 lockout to put up a career high of 19.1 points, along with 5.5 assists and 1.6 steals. The next year, the Bucks brought in Monta Ellis at the trade deadline, so while Jennings' scoring dropped slightly, his assist numbers went up as the duo formed a potent backcourt tandem. That said, his most famous moment of the season came during the playoffs. Milwaukee dropped the first 2 games to LeBron James and the rest of the Miami Heat, but Jennings confidently told reporters that the Bucks would win in 6 games. Unfortunately, they were swept, but the phrase "Bucks in 6" became a catchphrase with the fan base, and when Milwaukee won the 2021 title in 6 games after losing its first 2, Jennings was invited back to participate in the championship parade. Back in 2013, the Bucks decided to send Jennings to the Detroit Pistons in a sign-and-trade deal after the 2 sides could not agree on a long-term contract. Jennings had a solid first season in Detroit with 15.5 points and a career-high 7.6 assists, but the Pistons were dreadful. Then the guard tore his Achilles tendon halfway through 2015, and he was unfortunately never able to regain his previous form. Jennings was traded to Orlando after 23 games in 2016 and spent 2017 between the Knicks and Wizards. He rejoined the Bucks in 2018 for 14 games, but was waived after a series of 10-day contracts. Jennings then spent some time playing in Russia, but his contract was terminated after 10 games. He stopped playing pro ball after that, but is deep into the former pro players podcast game these days, routinely popping up on Gilbert Arenas' show, among several others. Jennings also has his own clothing brand called Tough Crowd. Sylven Landesberg. After picking up Mr. Basketball in New York, Landesberg joined the University of Virginia. He was instantly a top contributor, pouring in 16.6 points a night while adding 6 rebounds and 3 assists. The Cavs didn't win much, but Landesberg still picked up the ACC Freshman of the Year. He led the team in scoring again during Coach Tony Bennett's first season and made the second-team All-ACC roster. However, he did not finish the season because Landesberg was ruled ineligible in March for failing to meet academic obligations. A few weeks later, he announced he'd be entering the 2010 draft. Landesberg was not selected and never played in the NBA. Instead, he spent the last decade and a half playing overseas, most notably winning 5 Israeli State Cups and the 2014 EuroLeague title with Tel Aviv. Over the years, he's made stops in Israel, Spain, Turkey, China, and Austria. As of 2026, he's still playing in the Austrian League. And speaking of Austria, the forward's father is from the country, so Landesberg has played for the Austrian national team, even scoring 49 points in his debut game against Great Britain in 2018. Malcolm Lee. Compared to most of the players on this list, Lee was ranked relatively low in this class, coming in as the 47th best player, at least by Rivals rankings. Still, he joined UCLA and spent a season coming off the bench before earning a starting job in 2010. Lee spent 2 years there, putting up about 12.5 points, 3 rebounds, and 3 assists a night. That was good enough to make the first team All-Pac-12 roster in 2011. And Lee decided to forego his final season of eligibility and enter that year's draft. The Bulls picked him in the second round but immediately traded him to the Timberwolves. Lee spent 2 years in Minnesota but was often shuffled to the G League. Still, he played in 35 games across those 2 seasons, even starting 12 games during year 2, but averaged just 4 points in about 15 minutes a night. To be fair to Lee, he did have surgery to repair a torn meniscus in 2012, which hurt his development, and an injured groin in 2013 gave him a late start to that season. Still, the Wolves decided to trade him to the Warriors during the 2013 draft. He jumped between a few teams via trade before landing with the Wizards just before the next season. Unfortunately, the team cut him and he never played in Washington. In 2014, the 76ers brought him in on a series of 10-day contracts, but he only played in a single game. After that, Lee moved his game overseas, spending time in Puerto Rico, Turkey, Bosnia, Germany, Greece, and Romania. He left the pro game behind in 2022 after winning back-to-back Romanian Cups and is working as an entrepreneur and real estate investor as of 2026. Greg Monroe. Monroe decided to follow in the footsteps of players like Patrick Ewing, Alonzo Mourning, and Dikembe Mutombo and sign with the Georgetown Hoyas for college ball. As a freshman, the big man put up 13 points, 6.5 rebounds, 2 steals, and 1.5 blocks a game to win the Big East Rookie of the Year award. During his second season, Monroe upped those numbers to 16 points, 10 rebounds, 4 assists, and 1.5 blocks to win the Pete Newell Big Man Award and make the third-team All-American roster. He skipped his final 2 seasons and jumped into the 2010 draft, where the Pistons picked him 7th overall. The rookie started well, averaging 9 points, 7.5 rebounds, and 1 steal per game to make the All-Rookie second team. He was Detroit's leading scorer for the next few years, establishing himself as one of the league's better young bigs. By 2015, he was putting up 16 points and 10 rebounds a game, but the Pistons struggled to build a winner around him, so Monroe decided to leave and join the Bucks in free agency. Monroe was again a solid starter in 2016, but coach Jason Kidd started to tinker with the starting lineup, and the big man was moved to the bench for 2017, even grabbing a few votes for 6th Man of the Year. 5 games into the 2018 season, he was traded to the Suns. He was traded again after 20 more games, this time joining Boston. After the season, Monroe signed with the Raptors, but was traded to the Nets after 38 games. They immediately waived him, so Monroe signed back up with Boston on a 10-day contract. Once that expired, he joined the 76ers to end the year. Monroe then spent 2 seasons playing overseas, joining Bayern Munich for 2020 and a Russian team in 2021. In 2022, Monroe signed several 10-day contracts, playing for the Timberwolves, Wizards, Bucks, and Jazz for a total of 14 games. Moose then played in China and Puerto Rico in 2023 before hanging him up. In 2024, the Pelicans hired him as a player development coach. The big guy has also played some in the Big 3 League, but seems to be committed to moving into his career as a coach. Bryon Mullens. Mullens signed to play for Thad Matta at Ohio State. During his lone year on campus, the big guy mostly came off the bench to average 9 points, 5 rebounds, and 1 block a game. For that, he won the Big Ten's 6th Man of the Year award and decided to head to the NBA. The Mavericks picked him 24th overall, but immediately traded him to the Thunder. In 2 years with OKC, Mullens played in 26 games, averaging 1.4 points and 1.3 rebounds. The Thunder then traded him to Charlotte in 2011, where he had his best stretch, starting 66 of 118 games and averaging 10 points and 5.6 rebounds a night. He joined the Clippers in 2014, but was traded to the 76ers to end the season. Mullens then decided to head overseas, where he'd play out the rest of his career outside of a few G League stints. The big man spent time in China, Turkey, Iran, Japan, South Korea, Spain, England, Taiwan, Canada, and New Zealand. As of 2026, he's still playing in New Zealand in the NBL. Mike Rosario. Rosario played under the legendary Bob Hurley, father of Bobby and Dan, at St. Anthony High School before heading to Rutgers to start his college career. The guard put up 16 points, 4 rebounds, and 1.4 steals a night during his 2 years on campus, but the Scarlet Knights struggled to win games. Rosario decided that he wanted to play for a winner, so he decided to transfer to Florida in 2011. After sitting out a year, Rosario came off the bench to give the Gators 6.5 points a game in 2012. He became the starter in 2013 and put up 12.5 points, 3 rebounds, and 2 assists to help Florida make a deep run in the NCAA tournament and pick up a second-team All-SEC nod. Rosario was not selected in the 2013 draft. He decided to head overseas, spending time in Puerto Rico, Poland, Mexico, and Israel. As of 2026, he is working as a basketball trainer. Samardo Samuels. Samuels was born in Jamaica, but moved to New York by high school. He played in New York and New Jersey in high school, becoming one of the top players in the country. Samuels then decided to join Louisville for college ball. Over 2 seasons, he put up 13.5 points, 6 rebounds, and 1.2 blocks a game, picking up an All-Big East nod in 2010. He decided to leave college behind and enter that year's draft, but was not selected. Samuels quickly signed with the Bulls for Summer League before inking a 3-year deal with the Cavs. Over those 3 seasons, he played in 109 games, averaging 6 points and 3 rebounds, while also spending quite a bit of time in the G League. He was out of the NBA after the 2013 season, but has had a long career overseas. Samuels has spent time in Israel, Italy, Spain, China, Serbia, France, Greece, Mexico, South Korea, Kosovo, and Venezuela. As of 2026, he's still playing in Mexico. Iman Shumpert. Shump left Illinois to play college ball at Georgia Tech, playing next to 2007 McDonald's All-American Gani Lawal during his first 2 seasons. The guard put up 10 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists, and 2 steals a game. As a junior, he was featured more heavily and upped his numbers to 17 points, 6 rebounds, and 3 steals to make the All-ACC second team. He decided to skip his final year of eligibility and enter the 2011 draft. The Knicks picked Shump 17th overall, and he immediately proved to be one of the league's better perimeter defenders, picking up a few votes for DPOY and Rookie of the Year with 9.5 points and nearly 2 steals a night. Unfortunately, he tore his ACL during that year's playoffs and wouldn't play again until midway through 2013. He was still a solid defender, but had taken an obvious step back. The Knicks eventually decided to move on, trading him to the Cavs midway through the 2015 season. He continued to provide solid minutes off the bench, helping Cleveland and LeBron James win a title in 2016. Shump continued to suffer injuries over the next few years and was traded to the Kings in 2018. He spent a few more years hopping around the league, playing for Houston and Brooklyn, before retiring in 2021. Outside of his on-court play, Shump has played around with a rap career, releasing several songs in the early 2010s. He also married musical artist Tiana Taylor in 2016, but the couple divorced in 2024. Shump appeared on the 30th season of Dancing with the Stars, and was able to pull off the win. As of 2026, Shump is still releasing music and is deep into the former pro players podcast game. As of this recording, he has recently been in the news for a few potentially bad reasons, but I won't get into that too much as it's still playing out as of this writing. Chris Singleton. Singleton decided to leave Georgia and play for Florida State. Over 3 years, he improved every season, averaging 13 points, 7 rebounds, 2 steals, and 1.5 blocks as a junior. He added 2 All-ACC nods, 2 ACC All-Defensive selections, and the 2010 ACC Defensive Player of the Year. The Wizards then picked him 18th overall in the 2011 draft. Over 3 years, Singleton started 62 of 148 games, averaging 4 points and 3 rebounds a night. His NBA career was over after that, outside of a few G League stints, but Singleton had a successful overseas career. He won the EuroLeague in 2021 and 2022 and picked up league championships all over the globe. Singleton spent time in China, Russia, Greece, Spain, Turkey, and Qatar. He hung up his sneakers after the 2024 season and appears to be working as an investor as of 2026. Kemba Walker. Walker hit the national scene as a high school junior, beating 2007 McDonald's All-American and future NBA MVP Derrick Rose in a matchup between their two schools at Madison Square Garden. He then signed with UConn for college ball. As a freshman, he came off the bench but played 25 minutes a night, helping the Huskies make the Final Four with 9 points, 3 assists, and 1 steal a night. The next year, he took over as UConn's starting guard, bringing his numbers up to 15 points, 5 assists, and 2 steals per game to make the third-team All-Big East roster. Then, he ascended to superstardom as a junior, posting 23.5 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists, and 2 steals a night en route to winning the Lute Olson and Bob Cousy Awards, while being named a consensus first-team All-American. During the Big East tournament, Cardiac Kemba scored a record 130 points as the Huskies won 5 games in 5 days, though none of those points were better than his buzzer beater over the third-ranked Pittsburgh Panthers in the semis. After capturing that title, Walker and UConn kept rolling to the national title game, with the guard scoring 16 points to clinch a win over Butler and give the Huskies their third championship. After the season, Walker, who had graduated in 3 years, decided to head to the 2011 draft, where the Bobcats picked him 9th overall. He signed a big deal with Under Armour and became Charlotte's starter after DJ Augustine went down with an injury. Walker played well enough to keep his starting role in year 2, improving his numbers to 18 points, 6 assists, and 2 steals a night. The next year, he made his first playoff appearance, but the Bobcats were swept by the Heat after teammate Al Jefferson went down with a plantar fasciitis injury. By 2016, Walker was pouring in more than 20 points a game, upping that to 23 in the playoffs, where the Hornets took the Heat to Game 7 before losing. And while Walker had already gone through a few knee injuries by that point, they didn't really slow him down. In 2017, Walker was dropping 23 points a night en route to his first All-Star nod. He made the All-Star team in the next 2 seasons with the Hornets, but the team struggled to win. Ahead of the 2020 season, the Celtics lost Kyrie Irving and Al Horford, so they brought in Walker during free agency. He made his 4th All-Star team and helped Boston make an Eastern Conference Finals appearance, losing to, who else, the Heat in the bubble. Walker's knee continued to give him trouble in 2021, limiting him to just 43 regular season games and 3 playoff appearances. After the season, he was traded to the Thunder in the deal that brought Al Horford back to Boston. He reached a buyout with OKC and signed with the Knicks for 2022, finally joining his hometown team. Unfortunately, his bum knee limited him to just 37 games that year, and New York traded him to Detroit after the season. He had another buyout and signed with the Mavs, but was waived after playing in 9 games. Walker then spent a year playing in France and retired in 2024. The day after he retired, he joined the Hornets staff as a player enhancement coach. It looks like he may have left the team for the 2026 season, but is still coaching at the youth level and has also invested in several AI startups, including Russell Westbrook's AI-enabled funeral planning company. Who knew that existed? Willie Warren. Warren decided to play with OU, joining 2007 McDonald's All-American Blake Griffin. As a freshman, he put up 15 points per game to win the Big 12 Rookie of the Year award. Many projected him as a lottery pick after that year, but Warren decided to stick with the Sooners for a sophomore season. While he raised his scoring to 16 a night, Warren struggled through injuries, playing in just 21 games. he decided to enter the 2010 draft, where the Clippers picked him in the second round. That reunited him with BG, but Warren played in just 19 games as a rookie, averaging 2 points as an end-of-the-bench player. He did spend some time in the G League, but never played in the NBA again. Instead, Warren spent time in Israel, Hungary, Italy, China, Iran, Lebanon, Mexico, Taiwan, Qatar, Venezuela, Iraq, and Kuwait. It looks like he's still playing in lower-level leagues as of 2025, but is also starting to coach as his kids begin to play higher-level basketball. Elliot Williams. Williams decided to leave Memphis and play college ball for Duke. He put up 4 points and 2 rebounds a night while playing about 17 minutes a game as the Blue Devils raced to the Sweet 16. That said, he was starting to get more playing time toward the end of the year, showing that he could definitely play at this level. He then received a waiver from the NCAA to transfer and immediately play for the Memphis Tigers. See, during his freshman season, his mother had gotten sick, so he moved back to his hometown to help take care of her. He played well for the Tigers, pouring in 18 points, 4 rebounds, and 4 assists a night to make the All-Conference USA roster. He decided to skip his final 2 seasons and enter the 2010 draft. The Trailblazers picked him 22nd overall. Unfortunately, Williams missed his entire rookie season with a knee injury. A shoulder injury in 2012 limited him to just 24 games, and an Achilles tendon injury kept him out of the entire 2013 season. After all that missed time, Williams left Portland and signed with Philly. He played in 67 games in 2014, averaging 6 points and 2 rebounds while mostly coming off the bench. Williams then did several G League stints in 2015 while playing on a few 10-day contracts for the Jazz and Pelicans. That year, he helped the Santa Cruz Warriors win the G League title and picked up the league's finals MVP. He continued to play with them in 2016, but did do another 10-day contract with the Grizz that season, playing in 5 games. He then spent some time in Greece before signing with the Warriors for the 2017 preseason. Unfortunately, a knee injury kept him out of all 6 exhibition games, and Williams was waived. At the end of the day, it was just too many injuries for Williams, and he's basically fallen out of the public eye since 2017. Tyler Zeller. Zeller was born in California, but played his high school ball in Indiana. His older brother Luke was on the 2005 McDonald's All-American team, so it's not a huge surprise that the big 7-footer became a solid player in his own right. Zeller decided to sign with North Carolina to play under Roy Williams and alongside Tyler Hansbrough, who had played with his brother Luke in that 2005 McDonald's game. As a freshman, Zeller started the first 2 games of the year, with Hansbrough coming back from an injury. He put up 18 points in the season opener, but suffered a broken arm in the second game. He missed most of that first season, playing in just 15 games, but the Tar Heels still won that title. In 2010, he came off the bench to average 9 points and 5 rebounds. He took over as a starter for his final 2 seasons, putting up 16 points, 8 rebounds, and just over 1 block a night. As a senior, Zeller was named the ACC Player of the Year and was selected for the second-team All-American roster. The Mavs picked him 17th overall and immediately traded him to the Cavs. Zeller spent 2 years with Cleveland, averaging 7 points and 5 rebounds, but losing his starting job in year 2 after undergoing an emergency appendectomy surgery. Ahead of the 2015 season, Zeller was traded to Boston. He began his career with the Celtics as a starter, averaging 10 points and 6 rebounds during that first year, but lost his starting job early into the 2016 season. Zeller continued to come off the bench for Boston into 2017, but was waived after the season. He signed with the Nets for 2018 and started most of his games in Brooklyn, but was traded to Milwaukee midway through the season. The Bucks waived him after that year, and Zeller signed a 10-day contract with the Hawks. After that ran out, he signed with the Grizzlies to end 2019. He joined the Spurs in 2020, playing in 2 games before being waived. Zeller decided to retire after the season and move back to North Carolina. He started coaching as an assistant coach at a nearby high school, and as of 2024, is doing color commentary for Tar Heels basketball games as part of the Tar Heels Sports Network. As mentioned, his brother Luke was also a high-level player, spending some time in the NBA. And I'll talk about the youngest Zeller, Cody, in a future video as he made the 2011 McDonald's All-American team. And that wraps up the list of 2008 McDonald's All-Americans. I'll be back in a few weeks with the 2009 squad. But for now, why don't you check out this video of James Harden, Derrick Rose, and the rest of the 2007 crew.